Hi everyone, Kartik Krishnaiyer here from the pavilion. Another T20 World Cup day is in the book in the Super 8s. England, the first national team, first national side to advance to the semifinals, fifth successive trip to the semifinals for England in this particular format World Cup, in the T20 World Cup. We are brought to you every day by the Boca Raton Tribune, your closest neighbor if you are in South Florida, and the best local news coverage of any paper in South Florida. BocaRatonTribune.com is where you can find the Boca Raton Tribune. So England wins by 2 wickets. Pakistan made it really interesting in those last couple overs of England's innings. And there's a lot of takeaways from this match. I want to say first off, Usman Tariq is becoming rapidly maybe my favorite player in all of international cricket. He is a special talent. That unorthodox release, that low release factor, and England faced difficulty against his kind of mystery balls, his spin. He had some googlies he mixed in there, was fantastic, and he got Tom Banton's wicket and he got Sam Curran's wicket. And England lost Phil Salt on the very first ball of the match, and Jos Buttler didn't do much better. So what we talked about, England's opening partnership letting them down, did so again today. But Harry Brook, boy, did he come through, the captain, with a century. And one of the great centuries, one of the most timely centuries in England cricket history, because everything else around him was not going well in their innings. But let me kind of walk us through this match. Pakistan struggled against Jofra Archer, who bowled 3 overs in the power play. That was a decision by Harry Brook I thought was potentially a mistake. But he got Ayub's his wicket, which was critical. And it looked like England were in control of the match. But then Farhan, who we talked about in our preview being critical, he was gritty. I think Pakistan was gritty in this match to stay in it. 63 off 45, most sixes by a Pakistan batter in a single edition of this format World Cup. Sorry about that. We're back. So Liam Dawson was really the spin master in these innings, and there was a late sort of collapse from Pakistan. They were 120 for 3. That's how they started, and then lost 6 wickets after that, and only got to 164, which put them in a squeeze, in a difficult place in terms of a target to defend. But they almost did it, because as I said, you had a sensational start for Pakistan. Buttler, a duck for Salt, with the exception of that match against Sri Lanka. We're seeing Salt in this tournament just hasn't been there with his bat. And Jos Buttler, I think, had 2 or 3 runs before they got his wicket. And Afridi back to his best, and that's great for us to see from a Pakistan perspective and an international cricket perspective. Afridi back to his best. And Bethel didn't do much either. I think Bethel had 8 or 9 runs. But then Brook, who had to come to bat in the first over because Salt lost his wicket immediately, played one of the greatest T20 innings in history under pressure. He could not lose his wicket, and everything around him was collapsing. He stayed alive for the majority of the innings, and he had a century. 100 off of 50 balls, so two runs. And this was part of the strategy for England. Once they got a certain number of boundaries, they were able to keep their innings going with 1 or 2 runs. Now, you have to give Afridi credit. This is what I love about cricket. He bowls Brook right after Brook gets his century. Great delivery from Afridi. They shake each other's hand. It's a gentleman's game still in so many ways. And it's great to see, again, Afridi at his best, Brooke back at his best, because he hasn't been great all the time in this tournament. And so England still were very much in control of the match, and then they lost a couple more wickets. And they still needed 10 runs, and they only had 2 wickets in hand, and Jofra Archer is one of the batters. And I'm thinking at this point, okay, and they were down to needing 3 runs from the final over, and I'm thinking, oh my God, and Archer's on strike. A boundary. England win. Who thought, and Jofra Archer, I mentioned in the first match against Nepal, he sacrificed himself to get Will Jacks back on strike. And Jacks had a decent innings also. But I mean, the teamwork, the ability of individuals to step up. This is a collection of players who have won a World Cup in this format before. A lot of them, including Archer and Brooke, have won a World Cup in the ODI format. So they're just very resourceful. They're the first team through England. I think you have to be concerned about the way Phil Salt and Jos Buttler, again, that opening partnership did not work. This is 5 out of the 6 matches in this tournament where it hasn't worked. And Shaheen Afridi, great deliveries to get both of them. Pakistan, though, they collapsed late in their innings, lost 6 wickets, and just got 52 runs in the final 5 or 6 overs. I think it's the final 5 overs, actually, as I'm looking at my notes. So, yeah, that was a collapse. But Tariq, as I said, kept them in. Although, he almost got a wicket in the field and dropped the ball. But then he more than made up for it with his bowling. Great match. Let's see what Pakistan can do in that final match against Sri Lanka, assuming it gets played, because I think they have a great chance to win that match, and depending on other results, advance. So tomorrow you've got Sri Lanka and New Zealand. Sri Lanka, they have to really improve their batting and situational cricket awareness. Even their running between the stumps in the match against England, even their field setups, there's a lot to work on, a lot to improve. New Zealand, we haven't seen them at the Super 8 stage yet. They have opened the tournament on a flyer, but have since looked a little shaky. Obviously, they have arguably the best opening partnership in this tournament, and that's something that we are going to want to continue to see thrive. But I think that they have had an issue beyond that in some of their innings. So that's something that if Sri Lanka's spinners can get Finn Allen and Tim Seifert to give up their wicket cheaply in the power play, early in the power play, I think you're looking at an opportunity for West Indies to potentially steal this. But the longer Allen and Seifert stay alive, the better chance New Zealand has. And I know that sounds like very easy analysis, because opening partnerships are so important. But we see with England, they've been able to win all these matches with Buttler and Salt losing their wickets early. Now, as it turns out, against Sri Lanka, Salt did not lose his wicket early, and they were able to keep going. But sometimes, in circumstances in T20 specifically, now not in Test cricket or ODI, but in T20, you losing early wickets, it puts the pressure on your batters, but it also gets you to the guys who are going to produce runs. I think with New Zealand, it's a little different. You want to keep Seifert and Allen alive as long as possible, and on the way these tracks grip with the superior spin attack from Sri Lanka. And remember, they bowled really well against England. I think they have a chance to really take this. So the winner of this match is in good shape. If the winner is New Zealand, Sri Lanka is out. And so expect a spirited effort from them. England through, and then we have 3 other spots here, or 1 other spot from 3 sides in this very, very competitive Group 2 of the Super 8s. We'll be back with you tomorrow.